Hi guys, welcome to my 5th CodeSpells tutorial. A lot of features have been added since my previous video, including multiplayer, and the fact that you now have to charge your spells instead of them being cast instantly. So in this video we'll be looking at loops and how to cast spells with other spells. To do that we'll be making two spells. The one will be a fireball-like spell, which casts a single fireball, and the second one will be a spell that casts that fireball spell many times to create a wave effect. So let's start with the first one. I'm going to create a new spell and call it Fire Wave Meta. I'll explain why I call it that when I make the second spell, but let's go next for now. I'm going to delete everything except the onCreate event, and then this spell will be using globs which have been newly implemented in CodeSpells. You can see there's a few for each element, but we'll be looking at the fireball glob. So let's see what that does. So when I cast it, it just creates a fireball that's attached to the orb. And you can see it took about 2 seconds for the fireball to form. So when we cast our spell, we don't want the fireball to start moving instantly, we want it to form first and then move. So let's edit it. Okay, so we've created the fireball. Next we want it to move after a short delay. So to do that we're going to create a function, and I'm going to call it start moving. And all it's going to do is set the orb's movement to medium. And then we want to call it after a short delay, so we're going to use the set timeout block. And I'm going to type in start moving. And we want it to activate that function after a delay of about half a second. So let's test that. That seems to work nicely. You can see when the fireball hits something, it explodes. So let's add in the extra functionality so that when the fireball hits something, it destroys the orb as well, just to clean up. Let's test it again. There we go, working nicely. And that's all we're going to do for this spell. It's a pretty simple spell, but we're going to be making it a lot more complicated by casting it many times. So let's create a new spell now. And I'm just going to call it Fire Wave. What this spell is going to do is when you cast it, it's going to create the spell that we just made called Fire Wave Meta multiple times in a cone, 2D cone in front of us, and blast it outwards. The reason I call this the first spell we made Fire Wave Meta is because we tend to call spells that are cast by other spells meta spells. So it just makes it easier to remember the names. So on create, we want nothing to happen yet, and we don't want anything to happen on hit, so we can delete all that. On create, we want to turn the orb left by 15 degrees. Why I'm doing this is because we're going to cast these fireballs in an arc of exactly 30 degrees in front of us. So I'm turning it left 15 degrees, and then we're going to repeatedly turn it right in small increments until we get to 15 degrees to the right, and that adds up to about a 30-degree arc. Next we want to repeat an action multiple times. So we're going to go down here to loops, and we're going to use this repeat block. But what this will do is it'll repeat whatever code you put inside it the number of times that you specify. So we're going to repeat it 10 times. Let's cast 10 fireballs in front of us. So first thing to do is cast the fireball. So we go to Control and Cast Spell. This cast spell block does exactly what it says. It casts the spell that you want. And here you give the name of the spell, and we called ours Fire Wave Meta. Here you give it the mana that you want to give the orb that you're casting, and we're going to give it 10 mana. Okay, This cast spell block costs whatever mana you give it here, plus 1 for each element. So we're going to cast this 10 times. So we need to add 10 mana for each element to the spell. Okay, and then we're going to have 10 times this on top of that, so it will be 110 mana to cast this whole spell. Once we've cast the spell, the fireball spell, we want to turn the orb right by 3 degrees. That's because we are firing in a 30-degree arc, and there's 10 spells to be fired in that arc, so 30 degrees divided by 10 is 3 degrees. So this repeat block will cast the spell, right by 3 degrees, and then that's the end of the first iteration. It'll return to the top of this and do it again, casting a spell, turning right, turning to the top, casting spell, turning right, and it'll do that 10 times. Once that's done, it will exit this repeat block and go to the next command, which will be to destroy the orb, because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so that's everything that we're going to do over here. Let's test it out. So it takes a lot of mana, so it's going to take a while to charge up. And let's see. There it goes. So if you're having trouble aiming, it's a nice spell to use. Let's see it again. Nice arc of fireballs. Okay, I'm going to go through the code one more time, starting with the meta spell. So this meta spell, which is the plain fireball spell, when we create it, it creates a fireball glob that's attached to the orb. This uses 10 fire mana per second. And then after half a second, this block will execute this function. What this function does is it simply sets the orb speed to medium. And when the orb hits something, it destroys the orb. And this spell looks like that. Okay, back to the main spell. When we create this spell, it turns the orb to the left by 15 degrees, so the orb is looking 15 degrees to the left of where we were looking when we cast it. And it executes this code inside this repeat block 10 times. The code inside the repeat block casts a spell, the fireball spell that we made first, giving it 10 mana, and then it turns the orb right by 3 degrees. And then it casts it again, turns the orb right, and casts it again, etc. When it's done that 10 times, it then destroys the current orb. And one final time. There it goes. That brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching.